What are they attached to now? They are still attached to the nucleus of the solar system, but the nucleus does not just contain the sun anymore. It contains a whole lot of other stars. It contains some very large ones. The blue one and the larger one we saw on July 23rd, they are extremely large. That one was larger than the sun. So we have stars like that in at the center of, or in the nucleus of, this planetary system. The planets are now no longer just attached to the sun. They attach to the whole group, or the central mass, or whatever you can call it, but a whole group of stars is now in the nucleus. And that's what it shows. In other words, it corroborates the fact that we have more than one star in the nucleus of our solar system now.
No, your fantasies corroborate absolutely fuck all. Look at the size of blue. And yet I haven't been able to see it yet. And then there's the enormous size of that other planetary body that you're saying there. And that's invisible too. And yet I can see the sun with its sunspot quite clearly. And I will be taking photographs of the sun again today. There is no sun shield, there is nothing hiding it. So please try and explain why we can't see your fantasy bodies around the sun. You can't. You're talking utter shite. And now everybody, please brace yourself for the biggest stupidity from 3 people you've ever fucking heard in your life.
That's the only way.
There's a whole lot of other stuff out there, man. I mean,
yeah,
it's almost like our inner solar system is being invaded. And 2 days ago, one of my other subscribers who has some pretty sophisticated software, planetary software, and just before we were ready to go on a live stream the other day, he sent me some concerning messages, and he was looking at some views. I believe it was Neptune and Uranus. And what he was trying to show me in these computerized pictures of these planets, he basically said that it was almost like they were being ripped apart. And, you know, he was super concerned, and I didn't have a lot of time to discuss it with him. So I told him, I said, well, look, I don't really know what you mean. Send me a couple of screenshots of that. And yeah, they were pretty wild looking.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to get in contact with him tomorrow, and I'm going to see, excuse me, I'm going to see if he can get a better explanation to me, or for me, what I was looking at, because again, it was some really kind of really scientific looking software that he was using. And you know, if there's something else out there that's further than our inner solar system, I mean, hell, are we looking at something else from deeper space coming in?
Yeah.
Also,
I think, Scott, it is likely that these objects are still coming in. We have a whole lot of them here, but I think they may possibly be quite a few that are still coming in. So they at different distances from the sun. It could be that some went by Saturn or Neptune, and these planets have a lot of gas. These objects may have attached themselves magnetically to these planets, and they would start withdrawing material and from them, because that's what they do, as they connect magnetically to these objects. So that may be what is happening.
You know what I'm going to do here real quick? Just give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and screen share these photographs. I mean, again, we didn't have a lot of time to talk, so it was hard for me to understand what he was actually showing me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys see this?
Not yet.
Let me see if did I screen share that properly?
No, you're not screen sharing, Scott.
Oops. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Let's see.
that is Neptune.
That's Neptune, huh?
That's Neptune. What kind of but how are we looking at it?
I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. He caught me right whenever we were getting ready to go on the live stream, like 5 minutes before we were ready to go on the air, and he sent me a couple of these images, and he's pretty bright guy and very in-depth into astronomy. And I said, well, what am I looking at here? And his last quote was, it seems or it looks like that Neptune and Uranus are being ripped apart.
Well,
so, I don't know.
It still looks spherical, but we see these like point sources on it, on the surface of the planet. There are 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
So
okay.
what are those?
I'm not familiar.
That could be points where these objects may be connecting to them. They almost look like, if it was the sun, it may have looked like sunspots on the sun, isn't it?
Now this was another
interesting.
This was another screenshot that he sent to me.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I mean, this is I didn't have a chance to talk with him further to discuss what he was trying to show me, but I'll be in touch with him tomorrow to find out what he was trying to show me.
It looks like vibrations reacting with one another.
Yeah, it looks like almost like when you drop a stone in a pond and then you see the waves coming from the point source.
Yeah, exactly. You see like 2 or 3 ponds interacting with one another.
Yes.
Ripple effect. Interference patterns.
Mm.
Yeah, he said, now this is the shot that he sent me from Uranus. This is the shot from Uranus.
Actually, it's pronounced Uranus, but that's funny because we can always say, it's always swamp gas coming out of Uranus. So
yeah.
Yeah, this object doesn't quite look spherical to me. My goodness.
Well, again, welcome to the electric universe. And someone said that what we're actually looking at is a standing wave. Well, in the Dr. Walter Russell model, that what we're seeing is the particles are where a standing wave, where you got 2 waves on the same frequency, on the same pattern. Like said, you would get that same wave if you drop 2 equally sized stones at the same time in the same pond. And the way that reacts at the center where they hit each other is where the particles are.
Yes. Yeah, that's interesting. Yes. In my last article that I wrote yesterday, I was looking at these stellar cores, and I saw how they were connecting to each other. And they were connecting to each other not in any haphazard form, like you would expect if it was a gravitational attraction, interaction that was attracting them to each other. They were connecting on the side so that the hole in the cloud could always be seen. And then they were connecting to each other, cloud to cloud. And from that, I could immediately see that the shape they are conforming to the toroidal shape. So they have the magnetic fields, of course, it's toroidal, but the structure of the object is all toroidal. That's why they have this toroidal envelope around them. And you can see the two sides of the core on either side. So maybe we should go through that document sometime, Scott, so that I can show the people.
Do I have it?
Yes, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our three resident experts, proving themselves to be utterly as thick as fuck. Scott, Claudia, and Jeff Spider-Man P. You are an embarrassment to the human race. The images you're looking at come from a program called Stellarium, which is an astronomy program for looking up the stars and constellations and the planets on your laptop or your PC. They are not showing Neptune or Uranus falling to pieces or having any weird electric universe effects. You complete and utter fucking morons. You should be ashamed of yourselves. And if you're getting confused about what's reality and what's on a bloody computer, you want to shut the fuck up, sell your computers and fuck off. And just to help you out, here's a couple of pictures of Neptune looking rather wonderful at the beginning of this month, you fucking idiots. And I shall also demonstrate Stellarium and that they've just used Neptune without any skin. And the same for Uranus. You bloody muppets.